it's one of these things where you make a decision. You have to make a decision so fast
Mhm.
that you don't really think through all of the things you need to think through.
Dining window open. Patio door open.
Anna, why don't you and your son just go in the guest bedroom? The officers that came to the gate work for immigration. If you were to try to leave, they're likely waiting for you out on the street.
Miranda, Vanessa, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well and getting in my Halloween spirit. So as you can tell from my background.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, after watching this too, I'm trying to figure out if this was kind of a spooky movie in itself too. Kind of too almost realistic and potentially true to life. But I was curious, what were your initial impressions for both of you when you first read the script? Were you kind of going along with the thriller sort of mystery, or where this is going initially reading it? I'll start out with you, Miranda.
Yeah, I as it slowly sort of merged into becoming a thriller, that's where for me it really got going because I love thrillers, but also it was just such an interesting take on it that it wasn't just an earnest story, that it had this sort of sinister edge to it where
Mhm.
perhaps these people are not all what they seem to be, and that basically that families have a lot of secrets when you really get into it.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Vanessa?
Yeah, this is an immigrant's horror story right here.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is just it's an undocumented immigrant's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
So, and you add to it the fact that we get to hide in this other family's home, and so conflicts just arise naturally, I would say, because
Mm-hmm.
at the very core, this story is about two very human responses to families living together who are so diametrically different, and it's bound to create tension. So
Mm-hmm. I'm curious because I feel like anyone who's gonna watch this is gonna think, what would they do in this situation, sort of thing, because it's such a polarizing situation.
yes.
Did you also think about what would you do? Would you be questioning? Would you kind of go along with it? Because it's tough to figure out what to do because you're sort of trapped, but you're also believing you might be being saved too at the same time. So I'm curious what you individually, if you ever were in such a situation, what would your mind go to, or what would you kind of want to do?
Well, I mean, I thought when I read it that it was an incredibly gutsy kind of move of Marianne's, that they decide to do this, to decide to try to help them, because
Mm-hmm.
they're automatically putting themselves in peril. Um, but but there are like many motives for Marianne why she does it, I think. But when I read it, I thought, wow, that is really making a personal step.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa, what if you were in Anna's situation? What do you think
Oh
you
man,
would do
that's
here?
a tough one. I think because I'm the kind of person who really, I try to, I don't know, like safety first.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably stay. I mean, you
Interesting.
know, the at the looking at it from at the beginning of the movie, right? I I don't know what's happening after, but if they had initially come to me and say, "Hey, um, you can stay. We're willing to let you stay," I think me, Vanessa, would have stayed. I would have done what Anna did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
I
I
think
know
different people could have different reactions. That's what makes this
for
Yeah.
sure,
a
for
unique
sure. What
conversation
happens
starter.
next is different. What happens
But
next
they
is
don't know
different,
how long
but
it's going to be either. They
Yes.
really don't know how long.
exactly.
I mean, how were the accommodations? Pretty decent for a ready-made basement cellar in a sense. I mean, it seemed like there was a shower there, so at least there was some certain things there already for survival.
Wasn't it bad? No, I think it's one of these things where you make a decision. You have to make a decision so fast that you don't really think through all of the things you need to think through, right? And so I feel like what happens with both families, really.
Yeah. The thrill and horror of this is it's real too, but it makes you think about, now with all the migrants and stuff around the country kind of, coming in and the situation is facing it's very relevant actually at this very moment. I feel like this story in so many ways too. And it makes you think about these people too. And, families being divided, potentially separated, and not having places. Did it make you guys think too about the current situation in the world? Because I feel like, ironically, it's very timely, and potentially very real too, and to someone that might see this.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things when I read the script, I felt like, oh, it's just completely of this moment. We're in such a stage of uncertainty with immigration at this point that it really highlights a lot of the issues that are going on. But I think it puts a really human face on that. You get to see these characters who are very real, just very real people trying to make a life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like it's not only in America that you have immigration.
Yeah, totally.
And it's always an issue here. It's an issue every election. This is an issue. And it's because it's so human, it's so universal. This happens everywhere. So I feel like it's not only American audiences that can respond to this, but anyone in the world.
Mm-hmm. I think another question here as I kind of finish up with you, and I want to know individually, there's a conversation started about trusting people in this day and age too. And could you trust, people that you maybe think but sometimes don't really know? We all think we know certain people unless you're with them 24/7 or live in the same house. You don't really know them. Do you individually feel like, even after doing this movie and maybe reevaluating certain things, like, do you trust people in general, or would you be more skeptical?
I think I'm really slow to trust, actually. It takes a lot to
Uh-huh.
earn my trust. So, I wish I could sort of, jump off more easily, but yeah, I'm a slow burn on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It depends with me. Some people just, I feel like I think I go with my instinct with this. And so with some people, it's just like somehow I can't explain it, but I fully trust them from the get-go. And some other people, like, it takes a lifetime for me to really. So yeah, it depends, I guess. But it's funny that you say that, because I feel like in the pandemic, I think we all kind of, went through a little bit of a of a situation like this almost.
Mm-hmm. Well
Even
said,
within our
Vanessa.
families.
Well said. I think there's that gut and reality too. I think both of you are right in your approaches to that. But interesting film for sure. Great performances by both of you. I hope people see this and keep doing interesting work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Talk on the next one. Bye.
See you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.